Hey everybody, welcome to
Hello.
Pop's React, your me BP1 and BP2. Today we're reacting to the Green Beret, who was a secret spy for Russia. Yes, interesting. We've been doing some spy videos recently and getting our informational videos back up, certainly military ones and past history. So we're doing this one because the lovely Amanda popped over to BUYMEACOFFEE.com. She bought us quite a few coffees actually. Bought 4.
Yes.
So, well, not more coffees than 4 actually. 4 requests, should I say. It's 5 per request. So yeah, she's brilliantly gone over there and bought us up. And we do like the ones that Amanda picks because they're always a little bit different, aren't they? They're ones that we just wouldn't necessarily just go out and watch. So yeah, another interesting
Learned a lot.
one.
We have learned quite considerable.
You're our teacher, Amanda.
Indeed, yes. So today we've got, as you said, the Green Beret, who was a secret spy for Russia. And this is from the, is that a Tacticom website, YouTube channel? Tacticorp. Okay, so let's have a look. No idea what this is about. So we will at the end of it, though.
We will. Let's get into it.
World of espionage. The story of Peter Debbins is an interesting enigma. Starting as a Minnesota University student with aspirations of positive change, he eventually evolved into a spy working against his own country. Peter Debbins was born in 1975 and raised in Minnesota. Despite his Midwestern birth, Debbins developed an interest in Russia, partly due to his mother's heritage. Debbins' mom was actually born in the Soviet Union, and he couldn't resist his grandma's fascinating stories about life back in the day. So he decided to dive into international relations and the Russian language, all in a bid to get in touch with his family's roots. In 1996, he went to Russia as part of a study abroad program, like many students do. The GRU, Russia's military intelligence, noticed him but didn't put in much effort to recruit or handle him in the early years of their connection. Debbins decided to go for a career in the US military, and he joined the University of Minnesota's Reserve Officers Training Corps. After that, things got more interesting. During one of his study trips to Western Russia, he fell in love and in no time got engaged to a Russian woman who happened to be the daughter of a Russian Air Force colonel. Amid the backdrop of the Cold War, Debbins found himself in the crosshairs of Moscow's military intelligence. They opted to assess the allegiances of this 21-year-old American who was romantically involved with a Russian. The GRU extended an invitation to Debbins for a meeting, which unfolded as an enjoyable dinner and drinks at a hotel. Later on, they offered some gifts in exchange for U.S. defense secrets.
I bet they did.
Cognac, a grand in cash, and even a full Russian military uniform. If Debbins ever found himself in a pinch and needed to reach his handlers urgently, all he had to do was to send a postcard under his new code name, which was Ikar Lesnikov, along with the message Happy Victory Day or Happy Mother's Day. He couldn't resist the allure of the GRU's attention, and on a later trip to see his fiancée, he made things official by signing a written promise to serve Russia under his secret name, and proudly called himself a faithful son of Russia. For whatever motivations drove him, Debbins had become a secret asset for the Kremlin, a covert operative, ready to infiltrate deep into the heart of American society. Fast forward to 1999, Debbins had tied the knot and was serving as a U.S. Army lieutenant stationed in South Korea. He was feeding Russia information about his mission, his unit's size, and their gear. But his handlers weren't content. The GRU urged him to set his sights higher. In just 5 years, Debbins had risen through the ranks to become a captain within the U.S. Special Forces, part of the legendary Green Beret community. His current posting now in Germany, where he had access to some seriously classified information. However, he made a grave mistake. Debbins messed up when he brought his wife along on a mission to Azerbaijan, a former Soviet country. To make matters worse, he let his wife use his official U.S. government phone. These security slip-ups got him an honorable discharge in 2005. Fuming over how his military career had gone sour, Debbins spilled the beans to the Russian intelligence about what the Green Berets were up to in Europe. He not only spilled operational secrets, but also dished out names, pointing out special ops soldiers who had useful info and those who might be on Russia's side. This betrayal left his US comrades in disbelief. Whether Debbins turned his back on his country due to anger, a desire for revenge, or simply his affection for Russia, which in the world of spies often involves a mix of motives. He was no longer interested in discussing ideology. At this stage, money was what he craved. He went to the GRU and proposed setting up a business deal in Russia, but his handlers had a different plan in mind. They wanted Debbins to cozy up to Washington's intelligence circles as a private contractor. Oddly enough, the U.S. court documents only go as far as the 15 years leading up to January 2011, even though Debbins went on to have quite an impressive run in the private intelligence world. He had top secret clearance from at least 2014 to 2019. He always made sure he was in a prime position to offer first-hand knowledge on a wide range of subjects, from signals intelligence and chemical and biological weapons to nuclear weapons. He spent 4 years as a defense contractor, where he was involved in developing a cyber platform for Army counterintelligence. Along the way, he also worked as an analyst at the National Security Agency, shared insights on Russia through lectures, and eventually...
I mean, this is quite crazy, actually. Just from somebody that, you know, met someone in Russia, and then I can see how, you know, then the family becomes the priority. Yeah. But there's one thing having money and going, oh, you know, I can do this, and it just seems like he's doing it for money and not for the passion of his country. You know what I mean? He's got had such an investment in his mum's history that he wasn't necessarily fully invested in the US, but he spent so many years in the US military getting...
I mean, you still got to be a good soldier to get promoted, you know.
Yeah, so exactly. You've got to work hard. He worked hard, clearly.
And then, but on top of that, you know, the friends you make in the military are different to the friends you make in the outside world. You know, you're all comrades in arms and stuff.
Yeah.
And the years that he was in there, he must have seen some sort of action. To then spill the beans against those guys that, you know, you've been there every day looking after, is one thing. I mean, when it started off, they only offered him $1,000, some cognac, and a uniform, so it wasn't a massive thing, you know. That was more of the ideology part. But then to get dishonorably discharged and still be able to work as a private contractor, get top security clearance into all these things. How does that work?
Doesn't make sense, does it? No.
Surely somebody must have done a background check on him and gone, by the way, no.
and playing the game. He obviously played the game very well.
Yes.
But, you know, looking at this, I mean, he was born in 75, so he's not exactly super, not like he's a veteran or anything now, like too far. You know, obviously probably is now.
Older than me, so 50, 49.
But we're not talking like, you know, old school. This actually happened in the 60s. This would have been happening in the early 2000s. So
I said up until 2011, the records go back. Very sort of curious slip up as well, how he sort of got discovered by letting his wife use his military phone. Don't know what's going on there. No. All right, so a lot of sort of little bits and pieces that need some further answers, but so far, not a very nice man.
No.
Eventually became a specialist in hybrid warfare, a strategy that blends conventional military tactics with sneaky tactics, like spreading fake news. Debbins' downfall occurred due to a blunder he made during a routine interview and polygraph test for the renewal of his security clearance in 2019. Afterwards, he admitted to espionage activities during his whole time in the U.S. military. He claims, however, that he discontinued these activities once he transitioned to a private contractor role with access to top secret intelligence. As per the prosecutors, Debbins might have started
where he got more money
for ideological reasons, but he soon shifted his focus to making money.
Yeah,
Debbins willingly put his country's security and the safety of his teammates on the line, all in the name of cash and a grudge. On November 18th, 2020, Debbins entered a guilty plea in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia. acknowledging one count of conspiracy to commit espionage, an offense that could result in a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. When looking back on his decisions, Debbins admitted to U.S. prosecutors that he had this big idea of being a savior in Russia, thinking it could help free them from their harsh government. So he was pretty chuffed when they reached out to him. In May 2021, Debbins found himself sentenced to over 15 years in prison after a 25-year journey that encompassed being a Green Beret officer, a private contractor, and Kremlin spy.
Crazy, because he would have worked really hard.
US security.
He's obviously clearly a talented
you
chap.
think in the comment section below. If you found
and a great tactical guy in order to be able to get the roles that he got.
Yeah. Just seems like a waste of an entire career.
It does, doesn't it?
Could have been much more honourable than what he ended up doing.
Honourable, that's the word. Because he was there doing what he was doing, but he was ultimately passing the information across. You know, it's. I mean, obviously it happens.
Yeah,
still happening. It'll probably be still happening out there somewhere.
Indeed, yes. But you know, the fact that he was born and raised in America, so okay, he had the family ties there, but not massively. You know, it's not like you were born in Russia and came this side and then did it for your mother country, that kind of thing. So all a bit strange. And like I say, the initial sort of buying him in wasn't very much, was it? It wasn't like he set him up for life or anything. A grand. No. I mean. Interesting one, but yeah, don't try this at home, kids.
No, and it's always you know, I guess people trying to stay ahead of the curve, but when you got people like spies that are out there everywhere, feeding that information back, it's difficult to stay ahead of the curve. So,
I know, brilliant.
All right.
Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting. We did. So more of those, please. We've got more coming up from Amanda as well. So
yes, thank you, Amanda.
Direction she takes us in this time. But Devon, don't like you very much. There you go. That's all from me.
No, Peter Devins. Yes, there's a name for you. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today at Britpop's React. Hopefully that's filled a little bit more history in for you, and just to bring awareness that these people are still out there. Still spying. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Till then, bye from me.
Bye from him. Bye.
Bye. I'm going to spy on you.
Oh, I spy. You might lie.
Something beginning with K. N. O. B.
Not